What's up, everybody? For those who don't know, my name's Eric. I've been skating probably since early 2000. Took a little break, had some kids, and life caught up. But started skating again. I want to say 3-4 years ago, like right before COVID started, and it's been going at it ever since. But there are things that I've noticed that are very different these days from when I started skating. Like, I grew up skating in New York City, street skating, only street skating. There was no parks back then. There was no plazas or any of that. We also had an abundance of amazing pro skaters around every day. So like, standards were so high, and the tricks that were being done were very, very complicated and very high level compared to like what's being done these days. But I want to talk about that a little bit, and people's trick standards and just self standards in what you're doing. One thing that was always an issue growing up was like trying to prove that rollerblading was just as badass as skateboarding or BMXing, because we were doing bigger hammers. Like, there's no question about it. But a lot of that came from how we were carrying ourselves and how we treat each other. I don't feel that you should go into something expecting to do less. I see a lot of that these days. And a lot of the excuse is, we're having fun, we're older and we're just doing it to have fun. And that's great. But like, there's an entire younger generation that's getting looked over. I have kids that skate, and like, there's nothing for them. And if we don't create those things, the sport's never going to move forward. It's never going to become anything if we just stay in that mindset of just pleasing the guys that were around before and pleasing the standards that were around before. But, that being said, there is right ways and wrong ways to technically do certain tricks. And another thing is, we can't have competitions if no one's going to, truthfully judge some things. There are tricks that are being done today that are different than what we were doing before. And I'm all for change. I love, people being creative and trying new things. I love having an open mindset. I accept all styles of skating, but even within those different styles, there's standards, and a lot of people will look over the standards for the sake of, their trick not being looked at as being done the wrong way or not being cool enough or whatever, or you're not going to get as much views. But, it is what it is. There is a right way and a wrong way to do certain things. One trick is like a star grind. Austin and Fish talked about that on Jump Street. That's something that was always a topic at sessions and growing up and shit. So like, your back foot should be locked in on a star grind or porn star grind, whatever you want to call it. Your back foot should be locked in. 95% of the rollerblading community does it wrong, but that doesn't make it different. Like, it's still wrong. I'm one of those people. But, instead of striving to try to do it the right way, some people kind of just roll with, oh, well, everyone does it that way, and don't want to correct it. But, style means a lot, man. Like, if you do a trick and, it doesn't look right because you're choosing to do it a certain way, that's what people are going to see, and it may be turned off to it because of how you did it. And again, everyone has their own style, but there should be some kind of standard. And I feel like a lot of the new school blading is like really new. Like, a lot of the wizard skating is pouring into the aggressive skating, which is awesome. A lot of big wheel skating is pouring into things, but I feel like some people are getting lost in what they're trying to do and forgetting that we're a sport that like kind of revolves around style. It's very similar to breakdancing in that way that, everything's kind of like real new and you're kind of doing your own thing, but there still is a format. I don't know if that's the right word I'm using, but there still is a format to like how things should be done and should look in the end result. And all I want to do is see people, progress and really learn how to push themselves. I grew up where if the homies saw you do a trick wrong or you wasn't to your best of your abilities, you were told that. And it wasn't to put you down. It was to motivate you. I had a session the other day with some homies that was one of the greatest parts of the session, is that everyone was being really open about like, hey man, turn your shoulders into that. Hey, lock your groove into that. Bend your knees a little bit more. And it may suck because you may have felt good about what you did, and like no one's trying to knock you for doing what you're doing, but don't knock the people trying to make you better. Like those people want to see you do better. Like they can not say anything and do it better than you and just like make you look bad. That's if they really wanted to. But when someone's taking the time to say, hey man, I noticed you were doing this. Maybe if you did this a little differently, you might have a better time, or you might be able to lock it in better and it may look better. Just take it with a grain of salt. I mean, I'm not the greatest skater in the world, but I've been around a long time. I know a lot of the guys that you guys look up to, and they skate the same way, man. Like they have the same standards, so we all should, And without these standards, things can't grow the way we wanted to grow. And the people who did do it before us, and the people who were around, and the people who are like doing crazy hammers or like super technical tricks, like they're not gonna get anything out of it. Eventually, they're just gonna hang it up, and that's it. Like then, what was it worth? What's it worth putting all your time into something if it's just gonna dwindle away because of how people, push themselves? I mean, again, this is all my own personal opinion. I do care about skating a lot, and leaving it a little bit and coming back and seeing how certain things are, it was kind of like, damn, like I kind of wish it would have kept growing. Everyone kind of stopped and just picked up where we left off, and a lot of us are older now, and it's like we can't have the same views that we had when we were 15 now at 34. Like I'm talking to my older guys out there that have been in the game for a long time. Like, don't shit on people just because it's not what we were doing when we were 15. I mean, we had an idea of like what pro skaters were and did and how that life was at 15 years old. Now we're older, and it wasn't that. That's a fantasy, but there's things that are very real and I feel are overlooked. Don't get involved. Don't not get involved in something because you see beginners a part of it, because those beginners are going to get better, and they're going to keep practicing and they're going to keep pushing. And those beginners, when we can't do what we're doing anymore, are going to be the future. So if we're not there trying to push those people, whether they're 13, whether they're 6 years old, whether they're 44, like if we're not there to push them to do better and do the best they can, what's the point, man? Like it's just going to be another fad. It's just going to come and go like we did before. Like there's no reason why rollerblading is not at the level of skateboarding or scooters for that matter right now. Like everyone used to make fun of the scooter kids, but they're blowing us out the water, and it has nothing to do with tricks. It's their community. I mean, we got to stop hating on each other. It's really got to stop. But at the same time, you got to push each other. Everyone's got to stop being soft and not taking criticism, because that's what makes you grow, man. That's what makes you stronger. And I feel like I see a real lack of that now. It's just everyone's kind of like offended by everything. And it needs to stop. It needs to stop, man, because it's turning people off that want to do positive things in the community. And it's going to turn people away from joining our community. And at the same time, we have a great community that has a lot of people that are willing to like lend a hand and teach you and just be very welcoming. Like, let's keep that up. Let's keep that energy going, man. Because when I came back, that's what kept me going, was everyone that was a COVID skater, coming back after 10 years, and all of a sudden, like, you have the same passion you had when you were 15 because you've been locked in the house for 2 years. But now things are evolving, and it's like, shit, like, I want my kids to keep, wanting to be involved in that. They may not be pro skaters, but, like, they like doing it. They like seeing it. I want that to keep going. Like, instead of us trying to look for the next thing that's going to take us to the level of skateboarding, how about we just work on the things that we have and build that? Like, bring back competitions that, like, are going to be honest. Bring back, like, sections that took 3 years to film instead of just Instagram shit, man. Like, and social media is awesome. Like, I love the fact that I can get on my phone and see skating clips and see, like, clips that are being done right now. But at the same time, it kind of kills the excitement of waiting for something. Like, I remember waiting for the Razors video and waiting, a year for it to come out. But when we would go to the premiere, or you pop the DVD in or the VHS in, it's like those sections blew you away because they worked their asses off for them. Like they sought the spots out. They really, they did their work, and some guys, yes, you can bang out shit every session, but like, it's going to come to a point you're going to burn yourself out, and you're just going to be repetitive, or you're just going to do things because that's what you can do at that time. And that being said, like, I personally will be documenting my own skating and my own progression, and really pushing myself, because, I used to skate at a much higher level when I was younger, but, you get older, your body takes a beating. Like, you can't do the things you used to do for as long as you used to do them. But, like, I love this shit. Skating keeps me sane. People don't talk about the mental and how that affects people, but, like, skating could keep you really, really with your head on your shoulders sometimes, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the friends that I've made over the years. I met my wife because of skater friends, and, like, it's been a big part of my life, even when it wasn't. Like, there was a couple of years that it wasn't a part of my life, and, I missed it. But when I came back to it, I appreciated it a little more. I appreciated the things that we used to do for it. Like, I just feel some of that appreciation disappeared for some people, and they just, expect things to come to them because you can hurricane topsail a rail. But, there was a time where everyone at the session could do that, you had to really show, like, really stand out to be noticed. Like, there was a period of time where people were really killing it, but at the same time we were kind of like destroying ourselves because we didn't see the bigger picture. And now we can see the bigger picture, and I just want to see people, like, take advantage of that. I like to see people win. I really don't give a shit about myself. Like, I really don't care if I get sponsored. I'm 34 years old. Like, I'm not looking for handouts from people and shit. Like, I just kind of want to see it grow and see it keep going. Like, and I think there's a lot of skaters that, their time has passed and they're not recognized the way they should. Like, seeing friends have to do certain things because, the industry didn't treat them the right way. It's an eye opener, man. Like, it really is. Like, I used to look up to these guys, and friends or not, it's just like, to see them not get what they deserve is wrong. It's wrong. But, things are going to change, and I see a lot of positivity. Like, a big shout out to, like, Mesmer, that you're trying to do things for the skaters, and you're doing it because you love it. Billy's been skating forever. I lived in Staten Island for a while, skated a lot with him, and it's just like, to see him go from where it was as, like, a superhero when I was younger to now, it's like, that's motivational, and I can stand behind that. And, like, riding Mesmer has been riding them since they came out. Super pumped for the new ones to be coming out. Dominic Bruce Pro Skates, those look sick. Mine's taking a beating. I'm cracking my plates, so, I might have to jump on those. But, or them skates with John Julio, man, like, what he's done, and the amount of time he's dedicated of his life to rollerblading, man. Let's not let that go to waste. Like, really, let's not let that go to waste. These guys are family people that are taking time out of their lives to make sure that we still have the hobby that we love so much, because, hate to break it to a lot of you, it's still a fucking hobby. Like, I see a lot of guys saying I'm pro and this and that. It's like, you're not. But okay, like, take it for what it is and build. It's not just about us. Like, let's do it for the younger generation. Let's do it for the people who've been doing it for a long time, and just, they need a place to be, man. Like, we need a place to exist. And we're going to do this whether you like it or not, or whether the skateboarders like it or not, or the scooters, like, whatever barrier you're going to use, like, you're going to do it anyway. So you might as well do it right. Let's go hard. Let's make this shit look good. Let's make people stop, like, hating on us because we have 8 wheels on our feet instead of 4, or, whatever people want to say these days. But that's it. If you agree with me or you have anything to say, please leave it in the comments. I do want to do an in-depth review of the Mesmers I've been on, going on 9 months. I love them. In short, it's not much that I would change. I skated Thrones back in the day, so, like, it was a no-brainer for me. I do have other skates that in my closet that I want to kind of bring out and play with. Like, I got some Salomon Aaron Feinbergs, Salomon STIs, the silver ones from back in the day. My actual skate that I skated when I was like 13, 14. Like, I got it back from a friend, so I really want to skate those, just for the nostalgia of it. And if you want to see that, let me know in the comments. I'll get on it a little faster. But that's it. Just keep skating. for whatever reason it is that you do it. And we all do it for different reasons, but we all love it. You know, have fun, be creative, push yourself, and that's it. Have a good day, man.